Welcome to The Project. Tonight, Donald Trump's major ultimatum to Vladimir Putin, urging him to stop the Ukraine war. So does the US president really have what it takes to put an end to the conflict?
Also, the Australian Open tennis players slamming courtside broadcasters. So is this a case of Aussie humour gone wrong, or are players being precious?
Plus, we chat with Oscar winner, skilled stuntwoman and professional ass kicker Michelle Yeoh.
And I'm losing my voice, or as Waleed calls it, the best day ever. Will I have any voice left by 7:30 p.m? Will I perfect my RFK Jr. impression? Either way, this is news done differently.
Wow. We are live from the lands of the Cooler Nation. You know who's back? Nick Cody!
Good to be back. It's been a while.
You've got a freshly shorn beard.
That's what you've picked up? What is this?
No, sorry.
What is that?
I've got a large pen. Pencil, sorry.
Pencil?
Because earlier in the week, you said I couldn't use a pen because I don't have my pen licence. So I went out and bought a big pencil.
This is a spectacular act of overcompensation.
Well,
it really
look,
is.
get used to it. They call me Big Boy.
Can you drive it though, Sam?
My voice is gone, actually, now that I think about it.
All right, let's check today's top stories now. And Bruce Lerman will ask for a judge-only trial when he defends himself in a Queensland court against 2 charges of rape. His lawyers flagged the move during a court hearing today. The 29-year-old is accused of raping a woman in Toowoomba in October 2021. He's yet to formally enter a plea. His bail has been extended.
President Donald Trump has given his first TV interview since returning to the White House. Speaking to Fox News, he brushed aside concerns about China and TikTok and flagged he may have his predecessor Joe Biden investigated. And as his plan to deport millions of unauthorised immigrants gets underway, he defended his controversial border policies.
Who would ask for open borders with people pouring in, some of whom, I won't get into it, but you can look at them and you can say, could be trouble.
A blow for music lovers. They'll miss out on Splendour in the Grass for the second year in a row. Organisers have revealed they need more time to recharge and will return bigger and better when the time's right. Unexpected events was the reason given for why the festival was cancelled last year. The festival had been held annually in and around Byron Bay since 2001.
And it seems not all expenses will be covered in the Coalition's new tax deduction policy if it wins power at the next election. So under the proposed scheme, small businesses will be able to claim up to 20 grand's worth of work-related meal and entertainment expenses like, taking someone to the footy or movie tickets or a round of golf.
Hell yeah.
But meetings at brothels and strip clubs will not be considered a work-related expense.
Oh, come on!
You're kidding.
No.
First night back and I hear this.
What are you...
2025, the year of a nanny state. I'm trying to do business.
A bunch of fascists, aren't they?
Also, who asked for a receipt at a strip club? That is the wildest. I need proof of this night out.
Also, how close are you with your accountant that you go to your accountant and be like, I can claim the brothel, right? Like, that's insane. It's all insane.
This is going to be great news for massage parlours, I've got to feel it. Anyway, first, it was the Aus Open fans getting a bad rap. Then broadcaster Tony Jones. Now it's the entire on-court reporter squad copping it from another pissed-off tennis pro. So is the Happy Slam's reputation at risk?
Hey guys, let's do it.
Ben Shelton, 22 years old, a rising American star.
Making American tennis great again.
Hobbies include photography, American football, and taking down Aussie broadcasters.
I don't think that the guy who mocked Novak, I don't think that was just a single event.
Novak, he's overrated. Novak's a has-been. Novak, kick him out.
The famous sports journalist made a mockery of Serbian fans and also made insulting and offensive comments towards me.
I considered it to be banter. I considered it to be humour.
I noticed it with Lerner Tien in one of his matches.
19-year-olds are not meant to be that good.
That's former Aussie doubles champ John Fitzgerald.
I don't know what to say to that.
And that's teen sensation Lerner Tien.
Can you believe this kid's 19?
Athleticism, artistry, it had it all.
I used to live in Newport Beach, so I know where you live, by the way.
I thought it was kind of embarrassing and disrespectful, that interview.
Shelton also serving up some serious shade against his own post-match interviewers.
Whether it was, hey, Monfils is old enough to be your dad, maybe he is your dad.
Well, he's almost your dad.
Was that a black joke?
I'm not sure. Let's not go there.
Or today on the court, hey, Ben, how does it feel that no matter who you play in your next match, no one's going to be cheering for you?
You're going to play either Yannick Sinner or Alex de Minaur. The crowd are going to be on the other guy's side for that, aren't they?
Well, I mean, you guys can boo me, you can throw stuff at my head, I understand. I mean, it may be true, but I just don't think a comment that's respectful from a guy I've never met before in my life.
So, are our tennis stars being a little bit precious?
Absolutely agree with Ben. Courtside interviews way too long after matches and too personal as well.
Or are there too many unforced errors in our Aus Open on-court chats?
There's just been a lot of negativity, and I think that's something that needs to change.
As a tennis pro turned Grand Slam commentator, Louise Fleming has been on both sides of this particular microphone. Louise, can I be honest? I actually can't quite see what the player's problem is in this case. Can you explain it to me?
Well, I think firstly, I think it's a little bit of maybe not understanding the Australian humour. And I think sometimes maybe if we get a young player like we did the other day against Tien, when he beat Daniil Medvedev, John Fitzgerald, who's one of our best commentators, just kind of said to the guy, it's not normal that a 19-year-old should play this well. And the guy was like, I don't know how to answer that. Maybe he should have said, can you tell me how? Maybe, we have to hand feed them a little bit more. But I do think it's difficult for some of the commentators who don't have a close relationship with some of these players. Whereas you watch the pro, Jim Courier, I mean, he's amazing, right? He knows all these guys intimately and he just knows how to get under their skin and have a little bit of fun, and it always goes really well.
Louise, you're being very diplomatic tonight. Do you think these tennis players are just being just a teensy bit precious here? I mean, isn't it part of the job to actually do these on-court interviews after they play?
I don't know. If I was making $50 million a year and I got asked a difficult question, would I be upset? Hang on a minute. No, I wouldn't. I think it'd be okay. Look, I think it's a bit of a generation thing. I mean, go and ask a 14 or 15 or even a 20-year-old something a little bit difficult to answer and they go, oh my God, that's just too awkward. I don't know that answer. I think they have a responsibility just to try to build the story as well and try to have a bit of fun. I know he felt it was a difficult or an awkward question when he played Gael Monfils. Now, it's true, Gael Monfils is 38 years of age. He is old enough to be his dad. But he actually said, oh, is this a black joke? And the guy didn't mean that at all. Some of these players maybe have a little bit of something in the background going on. Maybe there's been a bad question somewhere here and there. I just spoke to one of the American commentators and they said, well, Ben's got a little bit of trauma from something that's happened back in America. So sometimes they just dump it on that commentator at that time, and that commentator doesn't expect it, and they kind of go, oh my God, where do I go from here?
Louise, I'm a stand-up comedian, and for a long time I've been annoyed at how easy these tennis players get laughs in these interviews. I think the solution here is to ban laughter at the tennis, leave it to the professionals.
No, come on, guys. Did you see Will Farrell come onto the court a couple of years ago with John McEnroe and interview, it was Roger Federer? It was hilarious.
He's a comedian.
At the time, he is a comedian. But they thought it was really, that was a really odd question. He goes, you're a silky gazelle. And Roger's like, yeah. And then Will goes, I heard that you only eat wombats for the whole of Australian Open. And Roger was like, I don't get this. He goes, no. Someone like Roger and Rafa, I mean, they always had fun. Anyone with a little bit of humour gets it. The crowd loves to see them throwing in anything slightly funny. We do pay them a lot of money. They have a lot of money in the bank, and we will laugh at them because we have to.
Louise, thanks so much for the chat.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Are they being a bit sensitive?
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. Some of those interactions I would describe as awkward. Inelegant.
Yeah.
But it's not disrespectful is a big word to use for someone. There's occasionally misunderstandings, but that's not. You're not disrespectful. There's like you can.
Oh, of course.
You can crank up the disrespect if you want. And it's
Do you remember when Naomi Osaka was asked about her weight at a press conference? Like that's gross.
That's a different thing.
But to kind of be giving someone a compliment and them not quite understanding what that means. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Also, I also find it weird that everyone's got to be quiet before they play sport. There's sports happening.
Isn't that part of the problem, though, this year? That it's just it's a bit too wild now. It's not like Wimbledon. It's not like Roland Garros because it's like a party down there.
It's like
fun.
Melbourne Cup. The crowds have just come from the Melbourne Cup. They've drunk all through Christmas. We're off to the tennis.
Guys, today's South Australian Premier Peter Malinauskas, he was talking up Live Golf, another big tournament event we have in Australia. Now, chat turned to Australia Day, and it became clear to me that the fairway is not a great spot for a press conference.
We live in the greatest country anywhere in the world. It's peaceful. We don't suffer the divisions that we see in other parts of the world. I mean, there are challenges, sure. And I just hope this weekend as many people as possible take the opportunity to reflect on that. I think we can do that with
And we never saw him again.
We've got to take a break. We'll see you very soon. Well, thousands of people watching the live stream, that was me on the weekend, of the corpse flower at Sydney's Royal Botanic Garden have been rewarded. Nicknamed Putricia, the flower has finally started to open, emitting its infamous vomity, rotten flesh odour. It's the first time in 15 years it's bloomed, but it's for a limited time only. The whole process only lasts about 24 hours, so my day tomorrow is sorted.
All right. Shareholders have signed off on a merger that will see Myer take over Apparel Brands, the clothing arm of Solomon Lew's premier investments. Just Jeans, JJ's, Portman's, Dottie and Jackie E will become part of the Myer brand, giving the retail giant a footprint of 783 stores across Australia and New Zealand. Lou, a 40% shareholder in Myer, regains his seat on the board.
Time now to see what's making news around the world.
Thousands of people are being evacuated with a new fast-moving wildfire exploding northwest of Los Angeles. It's burning out of control with high winds pushing the flames towards the community of Castaic.
It's pretty scary and I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going.
President Trump is set to visit the LA fire zone this weekend. From today, same-sex marriage is now legal in Thailand. Passed last year by an enormous majority of 400 votes to 10, the legislation has now come into effect. Same-sex couples say it gives them legitimacy by providing equal rights on financial matters, medical treatment, and even adopting children. And Prince Harry is claiming a monumental victory in his legal battle against the British tabloids. Rupert Murdoch's UK newspaper group has settled Harry's privacy lawsuit, admitting it engaged in illegal practices in gathering information about him. It's offered a full apology and substantial damages, rumoured to be 8 figures. It even apologised for past intrusions into Princess Diana's personal life.
Today, the lies are laid bare. Today, the cover-ups are exposed. And today proves that no one stands above the law.
That is a big win for Prince Harry. And personally, I'm glad to see it because I think there are some media practices, especially in that world, that are just so far beyond the pale that it deserves that, frankly.
Absolutely.
But the only thing that a teensy bit of regret I have is I would have loved to have known more detail of what they're admitting to, what exactly are the practices.
Does it add all that out?
Yeah, now obviously it's a huge payout, so they're clearly admitting guilt, but I want the details.
Big payout. If Rupert's watching, invade my privacy. I'm up for an 8-figure settlement. I could live with it.
It's about damages. Would it be that much in your case?
Well, look, you know what? I'll wave my pencil. You know, there's some goddamn damages on hand.
He looks into your phone, then you have to pay him.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, I should have deleted it.
All right, that's a wrap. See you soon.
There is a lot of discussion online about the sudden urge to do number 2s while roaming the aisles at Bunnings. What? Customers are speaking out on social media, bonding over their need to use the bathroom as they shop for hardware.
Somebody tell me why, when I take one step into Bunnings, I need to go to the toilet.
Let's get to the bottom of this right now with GP Dr. Mariam Chalan. Doctor, is this real?
Well, it seems like it is a real phenomenon. A lot of people are commenting and saying they experience the exact same thing whenever they go to these department stores, whether it's Bunnings or others. So definitely real. Although there's been no studies on this, I'm not sure how that would be conducted. I would best explain it by the enteric nervous system, which is something we call the second brain. It's what connects the gut to the brain, being stimulated by environments. And we know that Bunnings is a sensory playground for lots of people, and that can definitely increase the gut motility and push people to use the Bunnings toilet.
Sorry, what is it about this sensory playground that has this effect?
So we're talking about smells. So, sausage sizzle out front, and you've got, the manure in aisle 3.
Oh.
So a lot of things happening, stimulating the gut there. And I guess we could also explain it in a sense that when people are in these environments, they're relaxed, and we know that with relaxation, that can activate something called the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's something that rests and resets the digestive system, and that increases the motility and pushes people to go to the toilet. There's also the habitual part. So some people might go to these department stores and the brain has that muscle memory. It remembers that you did a number 2 there, and it's like, hey, let's connect to the Wi-Fi and go to the toilet again. So
I've heard a lot of people that love playing a home game, but never an away game. Yeah. Pop to the shops. Now, how much responsibility lies with the sausage sizzle? You've said the smell of it. Is it the eating of it as well?
It's a good question. But like I mentioned earlier, so there's that sensory aspect. So for some people, smells can definitely play a big part. So whether that's the sausage sizzle or, all those potting mixes. But let's just hope it's well-cooked sausage and it's not gastro.
Jeez.
Sure, I think we can all share that hope.
If it's gastro, let's hope the Wi-Fi's not buffering that day.
Also, let's be honest, I don't think there's ever been an undercooked sausage at a Bunnings.
They've been there for a while. I've got another theory, Doc.
They're always overcooked.
A lot of Bunnings punters are tradies often. So theoretically, do you think maybe they've entered Bunnings off the back of a Monster energy drink, 13 servo pies and half a deck of ciggies, and that's not doing great things in their gut?
Yeah, definitely. So we know that coffee can definitely stimulate the bowel movement. And, I don't think at those work sites there are the best toilets available. I'm not sure what Bunnings toilets look like, especially if there's an influx of people doing number 2s there, but they're probably a lot better than those sites. So, yeah, that could definitely be a reason.
Doctor, it's been a wonderful chat. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Yeah, it's definitely how I wanted to spend my Thursday.
It's as good as it gets. Mariam, thank you very much for chatting.
No worries, see you guys. How's your dinner going? See you soon.
Back, looking for projects.
He's unpacked his socks and settled back into his old room. Now Donald Trump is ready to turn his attention to Ukraine. The newly reminted president is threatening Vladimir Putin, urging him to end the war the easy way or the hard way.
The war in Ukraine is about to enter its 4th year, despite this ironclad guarantee.
If I'm president, I will have that war settled in 1 day, 24 hours.
Let's check in with the presidency clock and, I guess he didn't specify which 24 hours. But despite the missed deadline, Trump's not forgotten Ukraine, taking to social media to tell Putin he should settle now and stop the war, and that no more lives should be lost. And Donald must have had a movie on in the background, because one of Hollywood's favourite go-to lines...
We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
It's the easy way or the hard way.
The easy way, you got the hard way.
Right.
made its way into his post.
Now, boys, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
It's not entirely clear what the hard way is, but we do know what the opening gambit will be.
If Vladimir Putin doesn't come to the table to negotiate with you, will you put additional sanctions on Russia?
Sounds likely.
Thing is, Russia has already been under severe sanctions since the war began, with billions of dollars worth of restrictions placed on its finances and trade by the US, Europe and Australia, and America blacklisting Russia's biggest oil companies just 2 weeks ago. And none of these moves has proven a deterrent, which might be why Vlad's in such a good mood.
He showed courage to win in a convincing manner.
We congratulate the US President-elect on taking office.
Sad for Vlad, Trump did not respond in kind.
He can't be thrilled. He's not doing so well. I think he's destroying Russia by not making a deal.
Trump's new hardline approach surprising, given the bromantic vibes that coloured his first term.
President Putin was extremely strong and powerful.
Something always brings me back to you.
Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin?
So can a deal finally be reached to end this war? And will Putin opt for the easy way?
Don't you take the easy way out.
What easy way? There is no easy way.
Maybe there is. Here to do it the easy way is Tom Switzer, Executive Director at the Centre for Independent Studies. Tom, all this tough talk from Trump, is that what's going to do it? Is that what will end the war?
Who knows with Trump? He's such an erratic and unpredictable character. But my sense is that the Russians are in the driver's seat in Ukraine. They control about 20 to 22% of Ukraine. So I think if there's any real meaningful peace deal, the Americans would probably have to capitulate to Russian demands. And I don't think even Donald Trump is capable of doing that.
What about sanctions? Could they do it?
Well, as Waleed pointed out in his clip there, the Western countries, including Australia, have imposed a lot of tough sanctions on Russia, and all things considered, the Russians have weathered those sanctions. It's the Ukrainians who are really losing out here. They've lost 1/5 of their territory, 1/3 of their population, and they're in all sorts of trouble here. So, unfortunately, Russia's in the driver's seat here.
Given that, how do you think Putin will be responding to this from Trump?
Well, he will want conditions from the Americans. The Russians will want the 20 to 22% of Ukraine, of eastern Ukraine and Crimea that they currently occupied. They would want that legally recognised by the Americans and the international community. That's unlikely. And of course, the Russians have made it very clear they want Ukraine to be neutral, that is, not part of NATO. And so long as Ukrainian membership in NATO is on the table, that just provides powerful incentives for the Russians to continue the fighting.
So the picture you're painting is a great one for Russia. It means despite this war not going at all the way they perhaps planned and would have wanted, they've come out the other side or might be coming out the other side with what they want. So when Trump it's kind of a threat, isn't it? The easy way or the hard way. What would the hard way be? Like, you've got to have some leverage or something, don't you, if you want to threaten the hard way?
Well, that's why I don't think there's any meaningful peace deal on the tables unless the Americans give a lot more to the Russians and the Ukrainians. And I just think that's highly unlikely. Now, remember, the last time Trump was in the White House, Waleed, the United States expanded NATO further eastwards. They supplied lethal weapons to Ukraine. They launched missile strikes against Russia's then client state, Syria, led by Assad. These kind of decisions just outraged the Kremlin and increased east-west tensions. So Russians may be entitled to think that with Trump back in the White House, who needs enemies?
Well, why is Trump taking such a different tone now with Putin? Is the bromance over? Has he met a younger, hotter Russian president?
No. My sense is that Trump wants to end the war, and he's distinguished himself from Biden and much of the US foreign policy establishment insofar as that he's recognised that Russia is just playing hardball to protect its vital interests in its near abroad. You know, they don't want NATO, they don't want Ukraine being part of NATO because from Russia's perspective, that's just a Western bulwark on its borders. And that goes against the conventional wisdom in Washington and Brussels and Canberra and London and elsewhere that Russia is bent on creating an empire and gobbling up all of Ukraine, including Kyiv, before they have their sights set on Eastern and Central Europe. Russia is bogged down in Ukraine. They're bogged down in Donbass. The idea that they're capable of doing a Nazi Germany and expanding their empire is laughable, and I think Trump knows that.
Tom, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure.
All right, guys, well, you heard it there. Trump is back in the White House. Nick Cody is back on the desk. It has been a big week for big orange heads.
Well, it's actually a serious medical condition. It's time for...
Sorry, Nick, I idea. Okay, a 40-year-old man was forced to cling to the outside of a German train speeding at 280 kilometres an hour after the carriage doors locked him out mid-cigarette break. The smoking while train surfing? This 40-year-old is the coolest 17-year-old in the world. Authorities were alerted to the situation when they heard him shouting, "Wee!"
Didn't have the voice for that, did you?
No. Damn it.
As we've heard, Sydney's first corpse flower in over 15 years is blooming, with its rotting flesh smell earning it the name Putricia. Corpse flower? That's what I call my toilet after a night on the Guinness.
Please do not come to my local Bunnings. A man has gone viral after being caught on video cutting his toenails in the boarding area of a crowded US airport. Look, that's nothing. I once saw a woman amputate her own arm to avoid the 7-kilo Jetstar limit. I was horrified, but she got an exit row to herself, and that's pretty good.
Recent transcripts of private online conversations show Elon Musk admitting that he cheated at a video game to get high scores, ending claims he was a globally ranked player. The game was GTA 5, which is also on his list of baby names. It's not a great look, but then again, neither was a salute.
President Trump plans to release top-secret government files on the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. in an effort to increase transparency. I guess transparency is the only trans thing Trump will accept.
Who's getting booed there?
And look, if you're serious about transparency, Trump, reveal what's making Barron Trump so tall.
Champagne sales have declined for the second year in a row, with experts claiming the state of the world means people aren't in the mood to celebrate. Sounds like cheapskates making an excuse. Mate, where's the champers? Why the passion pop? Ukraine?
A plastic surgeon in Taiwan has performed a vasectomy on himself live on Instagram as a gift for his wife. I tell you what, it's a great idea, guys. Social media really is the best place to find tips for homemade gifts. All you need is some scissors and a can-do attitude.
But not my shaky hands. A cat named Mittens became an accidental jet setter when her cage was overlooked in a plane cargo hold, making 3 trips in 24 hours between New Zealand and Australia. Who was she flying with? Petstar? Qatar Airways? Meowits?
Oh my God.
A few fun cat puns to take the stink off the Guinness joke.
And finally, Ryan Gosling is set to become the newest addition to the Star Wars universe. This is exciting after news emerged that he will star in the next film. Good news, Star Wars fans. Now your girlfriends can watch with you. Just kidding, you nerds don't have girlfriends. He is hot stuff, Gosling. Forget I'm your father, more like who's your daddy? Crazy.
What a way to kick off 2025. You're watching The Project. Back soon.
This is Project. Welcome back.
Let's get some more news now. And Victoria's Premier has hit out at protesters planning to converge on Melbourne's CBD this Sunday, which of course is January 26th. Authorities are bracing for a 30,000-strong crowd made up of Australia Day and pro-Palestinian demonstrators coming together. Business owners have been warned to secure their premises. The rallies also threaten to disrupt the Australian Open men's final.
I think it'd be disgusting. I think it'd be disgusting to target the Australian Open, and that would really break, I think, the patience of the public.
Police in the WA town of Kalgoorlie are searching for a car thief who stole not only one but 2 vehicles in 15 minutes, both with young children inside. CCTV cameras captured the second incident. The 3 children involved were quickly located unharmed. Meanwhile, in Melbourne, security footage shared online shows 3 people allegedly stealing fish from a suburban aquarium. They appeared to be scooping fish out of the tanks and stuffing them into a handbag as well as down their pants.
Jeez.
Crazy.
Hope they're all right. Fish. This has got to be a stunt, right? An Aussie YouTube prankster has been caught cooking a steak while driving along the Gold Coast motorway. Jackson O'Doherty was snapped looking directly at the camera as he flipped a steak on his gas cooker perched above his steering wheel. He's been fined $1,000 and 4 demerit points.
Oh my God. And on that story, Queensland Police Minister Dan Purdy had only one word to describe this kind of behaviour.
I'm a big fan of a barbecue, particularly a good lamb chop over the Australia long weekend, but someone, as I've been alerted to, trying to cook a steak while driving, that is un-Australian.
Un-Australian, but he doesn't know that the guy named his car barbecue Mark Webber. I mean, Nick did like 3 cat puns before.
He used up the pun quota.
God damn it.
That's done. Now, the great debate over whether Tim Tams belong in the fridge or the pantry has been reignited. Woolies has been of no help at all. They are stocking the much-loved Aussie favourite in the fridge section, but if you're against that, they're also stocking it outside the fridge section on the aisle.
Pick a lane.
Exactly. Choose. No, that's it. I'm done.
Where do you get Tim? I've never thought about it. I just eat them. Where do you put them?
I've never thought of putting them in the fridge, so I guess I'm by default a pantry man.
I just eat them as I walk around the shop. I assume it's like kids with a bit of fruit. You know, one sleeve of Tim Tams for Dad as I'm getting the shopping done. No, I'm a fridge man. I like them in the fridge.
Why?
Why?
They're cold and crispy.
Everything goes in the fridge for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after living in Queensland for 20 years, food spoils.
Oh. Tim Tams?
Yes.
How long are you taking to eat your Tim Tams?
Oh, no, they don't really last that long.
Right.
But it's nice to eat them cold.
And they were just in the egg section. That's what's happened. There's an egg shortage. So they're like, we'll just put some Tim Tams in. It's got Tim Tams and then Red Bull. So if you're a fan of a wake and bake, get down to your local supermarket. They've got a section for you.
All right, nice out down with the Academy Award winner putting the star in Star Trek. From crouching tigers to wicked witches, Bond spies and monsters in law, Michelle Yeoh really is doing everything, everywhere, all at once.
We need your help. Very busy today. No time to help you.
A skilled stunt woman and professional ass kicker, Michelle also made history as the first Asian woman to win Best Actress at the Oscars.
For all the little boys and girls who look like me, this is a beacon of hope and possibilities.
After dialing the evil up to 11 in Star Trek Discovery, Michelle's back to boot some space butt in a brand new spin-off, Star Trek Section 31.
You're a bad bitch. Somebody's got to keep it lively, right?
Michelle Yeoh, welcome to the project.
Hi.
Congratulations on your portrayal in this film, Star Trek Section 31. Your character in Star Trek has been a huge fan favourite. I have to say, though, you are a monster.
You mean Philippa Jojo?
Yes.
Emperor Philippa Jojo is the real monster. Yeah, she's murder and mayhem. It's all the M word, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm going to have a go at Philippa, your character. I'm going to have a go at her full title. Can you just tell me if I get this right? Her Most Imperial Majesty, Mother of the Fatherland, Overlord of Vulcan, Dominus of Kronos, Regina Andor, Philippa Georgiou Augustus.
Regina Andor.
Regina Andor, sorry. Philippa Georgiou Augustus, Eponnius Centaurus.
Not bad. This is a very long title.
I noticed that there's this sort of character that you have, the villain. I think about Wicked, I think about Crazy Rich Asians. There's a little bit... Do you like the villainous aspect of acting?
It's very liberating in a way to play the villain because, you know, you go on to the dark side and hopefully in your normal life, that's not where you want to venture into. So thank God I'm not a method actor, right? I don't go around like killing for the survival of Philippa Jojo.
Thank you for confirming that you didn't go around killing people in preparation for this role. That's nice for us to know. One thing you are exquisite at doing and have been for a long time, you can think back to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and so on, is fight scenes. And I know you've got a dancing background. Do you approach fight scenes, martial arts, those sorts of things, do you approach them as a form of dance?
I used to because dance was my comfort zone. Dance was something that I was much more, I had a better understanding and knew how to do. I think now what the approach is, rather than thinking of it as a dance or as a fighting sequence, is what is the motivation, the drama that drives that action sequence.
You very famously said in an acceptance speech that you kung fu'd the glass ceiling.
I kung fu'd it out and shattered it.
I'm just wondering, you're the perfect person to ask, what's the harder ceiling to crack, the glass ceiling or the bamboo ceiling?
Oh, wow. If you're talking about material, I think bamboo ceilings are harder to crack. You know, glass can shatter. Bamboo just keeps bending.
Your background, I mean, you're Malaysian. How much do you think your success means to that country?
Oh, I think to the whole of our Asian community, it means a lot. Yeah. Because now, you know, everyone can turn around and say, if Michelle can do it, I can do it too.
And Malaysia, it's a great country, lah?
Yes, lah. Terima kasih, lah.
I need to ask you about Crazy Rich Asians because I'm a huge fan of that film. My question is basically, when is the sequel coming out? People are getting grumpy.
Oh, God. I think I'm the grumpiest, if truth be known. I've been waiting longer than you guys have. And then with John M. Chu having been so busy with Wicked 1 and 2, you know, good things come to those who wait, who have patience.
Because you're involved in Wicked, this has been one of these films that just seems to be drenched in memes. It features in memes all over the place, some of which I can understand, some of which I have no idea about. I'm going to ask you this question. Have you been holding space, Michelle?
Holding what?
Exactly.
Space? I think you have to ask Cynthia and Ariana.
Holding space is the now iconic press moment that baffled me, Michelle, and millions of fans.
People are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that.
I didn't know that was happening.
So I didn't know what any part of it meant.
And I was like... My favourite is the gay men's chorus.
Really holding space with that and feeling power in that.
I don't know. I think I'm beginning to feel like a dinosaur because some of them are really over my head. But, you know, this is what it is today. So, you know, the young people love it and we have to... That's how they express themselves. And it's kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah. Also fun is Star Trek. Also fun is this film. And also fun is being a villain. So fantastic to see you in this film and fantastic to speak to you. Thank you so much for finding some time for us.
Oh, thank you.
You can catch Michelle in Star Trek Section 31 on Paramount Plus from tomorrow.
Time for a break. More Project right after this. You're watching The Project. Welcome back. Hey, tomorrow, she is an Aussie rock icon. Killing Heidi's Ella Hooper is dropping into the studio and it all starts at 6:30. Don't miss it.
It'll be great. Still staying with music. Hailing from Louisiana, our next guest has built himself a massive Aussie fan base.
Jordan Davis is the country music giant, soundtracking life's milestone moments.
Find one you can't live without. Get a ring, let your knee hit the ground. Do what you love, but call it work. And throw a little money in the plate it serves.
The Country Music Award winner boasts an epic 7 billion streams. And us Aussies can't get enough of him, with Sydney-siders streaming his music more than any other city in the world.
Next thing you know, you got a yard full of your kids, and you take them to church, you teach them to feel.
Now he's brought the good times down under as part of this year's biggest tour.
I ain't saying I'm an angel, baby, if you can't tell, no, I ain't to take you home with my type. And I ain't saying he's...
Would you please welcome Jordan Davis?
Hey.
Hey, Jordan, so great to have you on the show. We mentioned there that Sydney streams you more than any other city in the world. Number 2, I understand, is Brisbane, where you are now. This is crazy. When did you realise you had so many fans in Australia?
I mean, it is. It's insane to think, you know, this far away from home, I have so many fans. But yeah, I was made aware of it a couple years ago. My first trip over to Brisbane to play CMC, and it was still to this day the most fun I've ever had on stage. and very grateful to the Australian fans for loving my music the way they have.
Jordan, you're so big in Australia that Nick Cody here has even tried to dress like you and look like you.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, Nick, that's a great beard, man. I was sitting here.
Likewise, mate. That means a lot from you. You look like how I think I look after 3 beers.
Well, hey, I saw your hair and I was like, I asked somebody here. I was like, hey man, does my hair look as good as his? I need somebody to come in and help out. So.
Oh, we best friends.
Hey, what is it, do you think, Jordan, that why we love country music? Why it hits us so hard here in Australia?
I don't know. You know, it's. I think to me, you know, obviously, I'm biased towards the storytelling aspect of country, but you know, being a songwriter first, I think it's really cool to see songs connect with just people all over the world. I think country music does that better than any genre, and yeah, I mean, this is the perfect example of being able to come over here and play these shows and play some of the rooms we're playing, and see all these fans singing the words back to us. So it's special.
Well, you're currently on tour with Luke Combs for his sold-out stadium tour. You've done a few with him over the years. What are you guys like as travel buddies?
Man, I'm just grateful to be able to tag along with somebody like Luke. You know, this is actually my 3rd tour with Luke. After the first one, I was surprised when he asked me to come back for another one, and then jumped at the chance of being able to come over and play these shows in Australia. So I guess I'm doing something right to where he hasn't kicked me off yet. But we'll see how these next couple shows go in Australia, and hopefully I'll get a call back for another tour here soon.
Are you angling to be his buddy on tour?
Yeah, do you need a +1?
Hey, come on, let's go.
Look, there's the music. You played around 80 shows last year. You're very hardworking, you're very successful. All that's great. But I've got to say, your most impressive achievement was this. Mario Kart champion.
You know,
how?
I got to say, you know, seeing that, you know, seeing the streams and the amazing graphics y'all had coming into this interview, but I'm really glad we got to the really important thing, and that is that belt. The Mario Kart has, you know, it's so fun. It's something that we picked up after shows to just kind of unwind. We play on the bus, and, you know, one post on Instagram, now it's like, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not even the best Mario Kart player. I got lucky in getting that belt, but you know, it's crazy how it's our camp has become the Mario Kart camp, and there's a lot of challengers out there that I've gotten a ton of messages on Instagram about. Hey, I play Mario Kart too, so I feel like we joke about how we tour to play Mario Kart. The show is actually second, but it's something that we've really enjoyed doing.
Sorry, I want to be your friend now.
He's already got a new friend.
Just very quickly, who's your character?
So I play with Luigi.
Luigi.
I have the Ink Striker bike with the red tires and the cloud parachute. So
okay. Sorry.
All right,
the show's
we'll turn around romance.
We've got a lot to talk about. Look, the show is sold out, so Jordan's being very generous by being here, but you can stream his latest single. Would you please thank Mario Kart's Jordan David?
Let's go. Thank y'all.